expect any questions, but if there's any questions and you'd like to address the guys, I can do that very well.
So, you just abstain? Okay, yeah.
We've got 6. Oh, I see. Yeah, well, he only needs to leave for one.
Right,
Yeah, okay.
but if he leaves, then you can't catch him, so he'll have to abstain. And an abstain.
Sure.
Well, I'm on the fire department.
Okay.
He kind of works
I assume
what we call our smart.
we got to handle it. Got it handled?
He does a little
Okay.
bit of smart.
Did all these guys just not want to be on the HP committee tonight?
Well, or maybe they all
It's all
want to
city
be.
guys that don't want to show up.
Or
All county guys
maybe
are
That's who
here.
you
Or-
select.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
These are the ones that get nominated. That's what I was always
Yeah.
taught. You don't show, you
Yeah.
get nominated.
Because I just live a mile north of him.
We'll vote them in for all kinds of
Okay, so
stuff.
you live
Yeah.
kind of on the south edge of Oklahoma then. Yeah, you know where service Santa Claus during the Christmas.
Sure. Yes. I think I just saw somebody smoke.
David Troy.
David, probably.
David.
Let me know how that
Then it's not an issue. It's a good thing you did. Especially in.
I don't know that. Since I've been here, it's always been hybrid. I don't think we've ever had to call a meeting due to not having a quorum. This would have been the first time since I've been here.
We've had a couple when we needed a super quorum. We've had-
Oh, yeah, super quorum, yes. Well, I'll go ahead and start the meeting, and then we'll just,
Go from there.
we'll go from there.
Gerald's out there to get in there.
He's trying, just anybody, come on.
Just raise your right hand real quick.
If you don't want to be on the historic preservation, you better get in here.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting. And guess what? We guessed right.
Okay.
I think you got one.
If someone would please call roll.
Brian Henry, Walker Henson, David Trojan,
Present.
Scott Orr, Cole Ring,
Here.
Marvin Cusick,
Here.
You signed it.
Donald Roberts,
Here.
Michael O'Brien,
Here.
Clarence Malley,
Here.
Greg Hopp.
Here. I just want to make sure.
And we have a quorum, just barely.
Ask questions.
So I hereby call the November Metropolitan Area Planning Commission meeting to order. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes. If you've all had a chance to look at those at some point, I would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All those in favor, aye. Aye. Those opposed? That motion carries. The next item is administration. Consider the appointment of a member of the MAPC to the Historic Preservation Commission. As I understand it, Mr. Ream is willing to be that member unless someone else wants to do that. I will take a motion to appoint him as the Historic Preservation member.
I would make that motion.
I'll second it.
Motion and second to appoint Cole Ream as the MAPC member of the Historic Preservation Commission. All those in favor, aye? Aye. Those opposed? And that motion carries.
On the condition you're old enough to be preserved.
He's historic.
Cole, you're welcome.
Thanks, Clarence.
Item number 2 is to conduct a public hearing regarding proposed amendments to the Historic Preservation Commission ordinance. Sure, Carol?
Yes, I was told that we were having a bit of trouble getting a quorum, and that we should maybe free up the ordinance a bit. So I looked at the ordinance, the first paragraph, and thought, okay, if we don't have a registered architect, we could have, but I just made this up. I read what the descriptions of the people that were needed, and I thought, okay, well, I bet we've got someone who has a demonstrated interest in historic preservation or experience in restoration. We do have licensed registered architects, so we may be able to fill it that way. The historian is easy, could be anyone who's a certain age, or it could be someone who had a history degree in undergraduate. I guess when I retire, I could apply for that. Okay. Also, so I put in real estate broker or a banker. I think that will help. Then the city manager thought maybe 2 years would be better than 3. I made that change. And the big change is if we get someone who is willing to serve, we should not term limit them. I mean, there are only a certain number of attorneys that are probably willing to do this, or architects, or for that matter, bankers or real estate brokers. So if we get someone, unless they're doing, never showing up, let's let them serve. And we've done the same thing, we're planning to do the same thing on the Board of Adjustment. If we've got plumbers that are actually willing to stop plumbing and come to our meetings and talk about regulations, let us not turn them away. Okay, and then the final thing is I noticed that we have never let the commission decide when they're going to meet. I would recommend that they set a schedule. This is so late in the year that they could decide when they want to have their meetings, and we could post it, but they would be special meetings because we're not going to make the December 15th deadline for regular meetings. And I know this is very, very serious, but I did not find a requirement of at least 4 members. The concurrence vote of 4 members is sufficient. A simple majority would be sufficient. So I just thought, I found no reason for that, other than the quorum is probably 5 anyway. But if there were 5, you could have 3 too, and the person could paint their house, or not. Okay. Now it's time for
Hearing.
the hearing, and I won't explain it a second time. Does anyone want to speak on this?
So if no one wants to speak, we'll go to item number 3 and consider making a recommendation. Is that the way you see it?
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
Well, I guess I'll make a recommendation for it.
Do I have a second?
I would second that.
I have a motion and a second to making the recommendation that Carol suggested. Everyone understands that? Are we good? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion carries.
How many districts are there? 2.
Okay, we'll move on to plats. Item 4.1, consider approval of the preliminary plat for the Theater District Edition, Block 1. Scott?
All right, we're needing to create some plats here for the theater district. As you know, Icon Cinemas is wanting to construct this movie theater. They're working through their final details to get all their approvals and all of their financial things in place and in order. And as part of some of the things they need to do to get their things in order, we needed to create these plats. And I wanted to, if you'll notice the application, I filled the application out on these. We have communicated with the property owner, and we've obviously communicated with Stetson, the cinema developer, and everybody has agreed to these plats. We do have a signature from the Hudson Trust person that is in favor of these, but our thoughts were that we would go ahead and go through with the preliminary and final plat. The final plat, of course, will have to go to the mayor and commissioners, and then we thought we would hold off on the Mylars, taking them to the courthouse until after the real estate transaction's been completed. That would protect the property owner. If for some unforeseen reason the transaction can't go through, they don't have anything on record with the county showing these plats. So that was our intent, to keep things moving along, and this is what the preliminary plat looks like. I will show you that there are 4 out parcels, Lot 1, Lot 2, Lot 3, and Lot 4 right here. And these out parcels are big enough. They're roughly a little over an acre apiece, and they would support quite a bit of business. I looked up sizes of restaurants like Applebee's and other things like that, and these lots should be big enough to support just about any kind of thing like that. The thing to know about this, as far as utilities, all of the frontage from this would come in off of Garland, and they would have access into their properties through this main drive. All of the water is right here along Garland, and then there is a dedicated 25-foot utility easement running along the backside right here in between. That's where the sewer would go. For both the movie theater and all of these parcels. There's an auto body shop to the south of here, and that's where the sewer would connect onto where they have their sewer connecting onto the main. And so that's where the utility easements are. So they do have access to water, sewer, roads, all of the things that they would need for these plats to be successful. So that's the gist of the preliminary plat, if anyone has any thoughts on that. Questions?
Hey, Scott, on parcel 1 and parcel 2, you utilize the main drive and then you would somehow get over to parcel 1?
Right. You would come in here, and then all of this is parking lot and kind of a main drive where they can come through and access on both sides here.
And then
through the back.
Conversely, 3 and 4.
Yes. If you wouldn't mind, Kent, go to the agenda item and scroll down on the preliminary plat and scroll down on. Go ahead and click that and scroll down until you get to that plat. Okay. It's the same picture.
Scott, you indicated you have the property owner, the applicant's signature is indicated to be you on behalf of the city, but you have a power of attorney or authority to sign on behalf of the property owner or the other owner, just to make sure we don't get into a procedural issue here. When
it comes to signing the Mylars, the actual property owner will be signing the Mylar. So we won't be submitting anything to the courthouse until after real estate transactions have occurred.
It would be signed by the time it gets to the city commission. We're advisory only at this stage. Just want to correct.
It will be I'm not sure when we would have them sign it. We may leave that item blank until after the real estate action takes place and then sign it.
Just don't.
So I'm not sure when all of that occurs, does that sound right?
This is the preliminary plat.
I
What we're
realize
trying to
that.
do here is, those 4 out parcels would all be owned by the new owner, Stetson Snell, but the city in our agreement with Stetson has to have the first priority position on that property with the mortgage with Capital One, or Madison One. And so, therefore, we had to get the property platted out so that we could get the legal description, so that all the documents that are being drawn up would reflect that. What Scott's talking about is, our intent was to bring it to you and bring it to the city commission
December 5th
December 5th.
for the final.
Assuming that we're going to close in January. If we don't close in January, we won't file this plat. So simple as that. So it's an effort to get the information we need, get it ready. We haven't been in touch. I've been in touch via phone and email with Sonia Hernandez, who's the broker for the owner. And she says that he's fine with it. In fact, he signed a document already and sent it back to us, but it's just not the final document or the Mylar you're talking about.
Our ordinance, it does make it clear that even if the mayor and commissioners approve a final plat, if it doesn't get submitted to the courthouse in 6 months, it's null and void.
Move to approve.
I'm looking. I have a motion and a second to approve the preliminary plat only, is that right? And then we'll have to approve the final plat also. Okay. We are approving the preliminary plat for Theater District Edition, Block 1. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, aye? Aye. Those opposed? And that motion carries. Now, do you want to go ahead and introduce or talk about the next portion of it?
Sure, there's really not much difference if you pull the picture up. It just really addresses them and shows the actual lots and lot boundaries, shows what the addresses will be on those properties. This is just a little bit different picture of the same exact thing. Calls out those easements. It calls out the additional right-of-way along Garland that we need if we put a trail or if we widen the road. So we've already thought ahead about what kind of right-of-way do we need if Garland is a 4-lane someday. So.
Go ahead.
Move to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the final plat. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion carries. Okay, we are down to lot splits. Item 1, consider approval of a lot split at 829 West Moore Street for the English Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses.
All right, so right here along West Moore Street, we've got there's an empty lot right next to the church here. And really, this is more of a lot line adjustment, but it still needs to come here. There's already a second lot created here, and we're just adjusting the line, the boundary 13 feet over to the east. And they'd like to consider selling it, but they want to add that 13 feet to their property that the church owns on the west side. And there is water right along Moore. There's access to Moore. And if you can see on the north side of Moore Street in the alley, there is sewer availability. That if they want to get underneath the road, they can connect onto that sewer. So they really have all of the things they need here. It's currently, if you'll scroll down, Kent, on that to the text. It's zoned C3. Everything is available. There is we show it in our GIS, a 6-inch water line that runs through the property. That's not a city main that connects to anything, and we're not even sure if that line is in use. But it would we think that it would serve the fire protection for the warehouse to the south. But we have also, if you scroll back up to the north a little bit, Kent, we've also noticed we can't really confirm, but there is a water valve about right here, and we believe there's a high probability that their water fire protection line follows this, which would make sense to give fire protection to the building. But we just wanted to at least note that there could be a possibility that there's a water line that may need to be moved running through this property. It could have been vacated. It's not anything that belongs to the city of Enid, but just something to be of note to the real estate agent and anyone who might want to purchase that property. But other than that, they meet all of the requirements that they need. It has the right frontage it would need for C3.
Motion to approve.
Second. I had 2 seconds. David, yeah, I think was my first second. So,
Okay, Cole is the primary and David is the second. Got it? Okay. Motion and second to approve. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion's unanimous. Okay. Item number 2 of lot splits.
All right, so where we are in the map right here, 1328 North Van Buren, what you're seeing in the picture is the Jeff Eaton State Farm right there along West Poplar. And they want to section off this property on the west side there, and they'd like to sell that. So they do have access to sewer straight across on Poplar. They have access to both Poplar and Polk as far as streets. And for their water connection, they will have to either extend this main over into their property, or they'll have to extend a main coming from this side to the property. So there is a little work will have to be done to extend a water main, but it is available. It's zone C3, and looks like might be a good place for some more development in Enid.
Move the approval.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the lot split of 1328 North Van Buren. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? And that's unanimous. Item number 3 of lot splits. Consider approval of a lot split at 4002 West Willow Road for DJD Realty LLC.
Mr. Chairman, because of my involvement,
I understand.
All right, so here's another lot split where we are on the map. This is the gas station right here on Oakwood and Willow. To the west is Liberty Lane and Country Club North additions you'll see. So this is an elongated lot that's over 20 acres. Kent, just scroll down to the second page for me. That's how big that this lot is at 4002 West Willow. It goes all the way over to Oakwood, has access onto Oakwood. And then on the south side of the property, there is a cell phone tower on the southeast side, and they're going to, keep that side of it open. So this whole property will still have access from Willow and from Oakwood, so it will not be landlocked away from that. It's zoned C2, and if you'll scroll back up to the top page, they would like to lot split off this section right here. It clearly has access to Willow. It's got a 12-inch water main. It's got sewer main. It's got everything it needs for business development. It's already in the right zoning. It has the minimum frontage for commercial zone ready, so there shouldn't be an issue here. I can answer any questions.
are there any questions?
If the day come for development in what I'd call the northern large lot that's left, is there access to that property up there toward on the North Oakwood Road, what would be right south of the railroad crossing?
You would have
Get
this.
in there in any way? I don't remember if there was a ditch there. I know there's drainage.
Well, you can always overcome these things, right, Mr. Engineer, with any kind of money?
Money.
Time and money. So there is access along Oakwood and on the south where that cell phone tower lease is right here.
Is there?
I'm not sure. I don't know the specifics if there would be room to build a road through here and connect. I assume there would be, but I'm not going to answer that question.
One other point I'd like to make is there's also a road. I don't remember the name of it.
Richard Road.
Richard Road. That's actually right away.
And then it looks like Hancock comes in right.
Yep.
It's almost like Richardson and Hancock ought to be connected.
Correct.
It looks like at one time that somebody may have cut something down through the center of this, but maybe they intended to build a couple rows of houses and then didn't get around to it. I'm not sure. But
Move the approval.
I'd second.
Motion and second to approve the lot split at 4002 West Willow Road for DJD Realty Incorporated. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Those opposed? And the last item is to adjourn. Do I have a motion to?
So moved.
I have a motion to adjourn and a second. All those in favor, aye?
Kind of a busy one. We've been out of it for a minute.